Okay, this is packet 2, page 7. These are naming what the quality and the size of the interval is. First you name the size, and then you go for the quality, okay? So let's do that. This is going to be a third. This is a fifth. That's a third. That's a second. That's a seventh. That's a fourth. That's a third. That's a third. That's a fourth. That's a third. And that's a fifth. That's a sixth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a fourth. That's a third. That's a second. And that's a fifth because they're both on spaces. Okay, so I'm going to stay up here for now. Okay, you're going to need to figure these out, the qualities. You're going to need to know the major minors are seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. And this is how they, if they're in the key, they're major. And then they move from there. And you're also going to need to know perfects, which are 1, 4, 5, and 8, which are perfects when they're in the key, but it goes, half step higher would be an augmented, and then so forth, okay? You need to have these charts in your head or on paper. And it would also be handy to have the majors and how many flats and sharps for the majors. Don't mind me. Okay, so this bottom note here is E. This top note is G. So I'm going to look on my chart here. First of all, it's a major minor interval, right? It's a third. It's a third. So when it's in the key, it's major. So I'm going to look over here for the key of E, because E is on the bottom. E is on the bottom, has 4 sharps. So it has Father, Christmas gave, Dad. So F, C, G, D. Those are sharped in that key, and this is not sharped. So therefore, it's not major. It's not sharped, so it's lowered a half step. So it's going to be a minor third. Now, if I turn that upside down, E to G, it would be G to E, right? So I move the G over. Now G's on the bottom and E's on the top. You got to switch their places. If that's going to be a minor third, this is going to be a major sixth. And I could figure that out too, because key of G has at just 1 sharp, F sharp, and that's an E, so that's E is in the key, so it's a major sixth. Okay, the next one. This is a D to an A flat. Okay, it's a fifth, so it's a perfect interval. Okay, so the key of D has 2 sharps, Father, Christmas. So A would be natural, and A is lowered a half step, so a perfect interval is perfect in the key, but it's been lowered a half step, so it's diminished, right straight to diminished. Okay, another major minor interval is a third, and the bottom note is F. An A double flat. Whoa, okay. So F is the key. So that's 1 flat, so it's a B flat. So that's normally just a regular A. It's been lowered twice. Okay, so let's go over here to the major minors. So it would be major in the key, but it's been lowered twice, so it's going to be minor, then diminished. Lowered twice. Diminished third. If I turn that around, A flat on the bottom, an F on the top, it would be an augmented sixth. Okay? So you just switch these letters around. F is on the bottom, you use the key of F. Now, A flat, double flat is on the bottom, so you use the key of the bottom note, which there is no A double flat. But if you did this, you could figure it out. That's a good way to figure out something that doesn't have a key signature to it. Okay, so this is a C to a D flat, D sharp, I mean. See how that sharp is on the space? It's affecting that D way over here. It's not on the line. That's why you need to be very precise about where you're putting the sharps and the flats. Because if that was down a little bit, it would be a C sharp, but it's not. It's a D sharp, even though it's way over here. Okay, so I want to go from a C natural to a D sharp. So I know C has no sharps or flats in the key. So that would be major if it was just a D natural, but it's raised a half step. So now it's gonna have to be augmented second. Okay. This is the key of C because it's bass clef and C is on the bottom. And this is a B double sharp. Whoa. Okay, so that's going to be funky because a seventh would be major in the key, and in the key of C, no sharps or flats, so that it's raised twice, 2 half steps or a whole step. So it's augmented, and guess what? You can have double augmented seventh. You won't have it on your test, but there is such a thing. Okay, this is a D to a G, and it's a fourth. So I got to go over to my perfects, right? And the D is on the bottom, so it's the key of D. So Father Christmas, two sharps. Father Christmas. So G is not involved in that. She is in the key, so it's a perfect fourth. Okay, this is a D flat to an F. And so it's a third, so it's a major minor interval, 2 seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. And the key is D flat. So 5 flats, blanket, explodes, and dad gets. So all those are flatted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But F is not flatted. F is not in the key of D flat. So it is a major third because it is not flatted. And it is natural right there. So we're good. Okay, this is the key of A because the bottom note is an A. And then a C sharp, double sharp. In the key of A, okay, we're on the major minor side. The key of A has 3 sharps. F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Father Christmas gave. Okay, F, C, and G. So let's see what this is here. C is supposed to be sharped to be in the key. So that would be major if it was just sharped, but it's double sharped, so it's augmented. Augmented third. This is the key of C, no sharps or flats. So F sharp has been raised, so it is an augmented fourth. This is the key of E flat. So let's check over here, E flat. What's going on with that G flat? E flat is only 3 flats, blanket, explodes, and so that G is supposed to be natural, so it's been lowered a half step. So go over to my major minor chart, it's supposed to be major, but it's been lowered a half step, so it's minor. It's a minor third. Okay. This is a fifth, and most of the time when they match, if they both have sharps or they both have flats, they're going to be perfect. But let's just make sure. Key of G flat. Key of G flat has 6 flats. And so everything is flatted but F. So that's a D. So it's supposed to be flatted, so it's perfect. It's in the key. Okay, this is a sixth. It's an E flat, key of E flat to C, middle C up there, right there. Okay, so key of E flat, 3 flats, blanket, explodes, and does not affect C. C is in the key. It's a sixth, so it's major. The key of D has Father. This is D, and this is G sharp. Key of D has Father Christmas, two sharps. Does not have a G sharp, so this has been raised. So it would be perfect because it's a fourth, but it's been raised, so now it's going up to augmented. Augmented fourth. If I put the D on top of the G sharp, I went up here like that, then that would turn into a diminished fifth. Just a little aside there. Okay, so this is an A and a C. So the key of A has 3 sharps. Father Christmas gave. So that is C. So it should be sharped. Okay, if it should be sharped, it would be major, but it's not. It's natural, so it's lowered a half step, so it's minor. Okay, this is an E to an F flat. Okay, that's a weird one. Okay, in the key of E, you can see how it's on the line. See how it's tricky? You got to get exactly those flats exactly in, on the same space or line, because that flat affects this note way over here because it's on the line. You want to be very, very precise. Okay, so it's a second, so it's major minor. And the key of E has 4 sharps. Key of E has 4 sharps. Father Christmas gave Dad. So that's an F. So that would be supposed to be sharped. So B natural, being an F natural, it would be lowered once. Being an F flat would be lowered twice. So let's see what that is on the major minors. Lowered once would be the, if it was just sharped. Lowered twice when it's flatted, it's a diminished. Diminished second. Okay, this is the key of C sharp, where everything is sharped. Key of C, nothing is sharped or flatted. Key of C flat, everything is flatted. Key of C sharp, everything is sharped. And that's a G natural, so it's been lowered. Okay, so, and it's a fifth, so it's perfect interval. Perfect to be in if it was a G sharp, but it's not. It's been lowered, so it's a diminished fifth. Okay, let's do these down here. We need a sixth, so they don't match. C to an A is a sixth. This is an E, C to an A. This is an E. I need a seventh, so they match to a D. And you can count it too. E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is up to a D. So if you want to figure out this C, you can do it with the letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a sixth. Okay, we're just coming up with the letters now. We're not gonna, or the note now. We're not gonna put the flats or sharps yet. Okay, so this is going to be a 7th, so that would be an F. And that's supposed to be like that. These little ones over here are supposed to be with a line over them. I'm going to do it so that you don't get mixed up. Okay. All right, next one. I need a 5th, which would be G, right? C to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was G to F. Okay. This is going to be a 3rd. So F to A. This is a 4th. So G, 1, 2, 3, 4 to a C. This is a 6th, and it's a D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be a B. And then a perfect octave is the same exact name. And if this is on a line down here, this is going to be on a space up here. So that's a B, and here's bouncy B right here. But actually, it's going to perfect. This is easy because if it says perfect octave or perfect unison, they have to match. If this was sharped, that would have to be sharped, or else you'd have to figure out from there. Okay, so that one's done. It has to match. Okay, so next one is a 3rd. So like little snowmen, a 5th, a 6th, a 6th, I'm going to write the letters in E flat, G, A, E. This is E, C. This is B, G. Now up a 2nd. That's easy. Up another 2nd. Up a 3rd. Space, space. They match. Up a 7th. They match. Skipping 2 in between. Up a 3rd. I have to add another line and put my note. Up a 4th, so it's not going to match. Space to a line. A 5th, it will match. Space to a space. And an octave, augmented octave. Okay, if this is a C, I'm going to have a C up here, but I have to raise it. Raise it. If it's got to be augmented, it's going to have to be raised. Like that. See? If it was perfect, it'd be both C's. But that one's raised a half step. Okay, let's go back and figure out the quality. Okay, key of C, A is nothing is done to anything, so A fits in, so that's major, just like it is. Key of E has 4 sharps. So Father Christmas gave Dad, so that's supposed to be sharped for major to be in the key. Needs a sharp. Okay, this is a minor 7, right? It's in the key of G. F is sharped, but it's natural here, so it is lowered, just like that. This is the key of C, and they want it diminished. So key of a 5th is perfect. So if it's perfect in the key, I'm going to erase this mess right here. Perfect in the key, lower it a half step, because we need it to be a diminished 5th. So it'd have to be a G flat, because G is in the key. Okay, F. The only thing in F is B flat. It's one flat. So A is in the key, just like it is, so that would be major, but we want a minor, so that's got to be flatted. That A, flat. This is the key of G, which only has an F sharp. So C is in the key. C is in the key just like that. That would be perfect, but we want diminished, so we need a flat. This is the key of D, 2 sharps, Father Christmas. Doesn't affect the B, so that stays just like that. It's in the key, major. Perfect, or stay the same. Okay, major third would be the key of B flat, would be 3 flats, blanket explodes, and G is not in that mess of blanket explodes, and G is in the key, so we leave it alone because major is in the key. Okay, this has got to be augmented. Okay, so key of A up to E. So that's the key of A. There's three sharps. Father Christmas gave. So that's in the key, but we need to make it 1/2 step higher. So I'm going to sharp it. Okay. Key of E. 4 sharps. Father Christmas gave Dad Christmas. This should be sharped to be in the key. That would make it major, but they're asking me to make it minor, so I'm going to leave it just like it is. It should be sharped, but it's got to go natural to be a minor. Key of B has 5 sharps. Father Christmas gave Dad and, so gave, this should be sharp to be in the key. So we're going to sharp it because majors are in the key. Okay, let's see. We got D, no, F sharp and a G. In the key of F sharp, there's 6 sharps. 6 sharps. So everything's sharped but B. So that G should be sharped if it's going to be in the key of F sharp. So I have to stick that sharp right in that space, right there, to make it in the key. Okay, so this is the key of G, and A is in that key because key of G only has an F sharp. A is in the key, so I have to lower it a 1/2 step because major's in the key, minor's a 1/2 step lower. So I'm going to make sure my flat is in the same space as that A. Okay, now I'm in the key of C sharp, which is everything sharped. Even E. So E is not sharped. So right now it's been lowered a 1/2 step, and so that's what we want. Minor third. Now we want a minor 7th. So the key of D flat. Key of D flat has 5 flats. Blanket explodes and Dad gets. Blanket explodes. So that's E. That should be an E flat to be in the key. That would make it major, but we have to lower it 1/2 step more. Yes, we have to lower it twice to make it minor. So double flat. Okay, so this is an E flat to a G, and the key of E flat. I thought it had that E flat to a G. Yeah, there it is right here, E flat to a G. And we figured out it was major like it is, because in the key of E flat, G is natural. How did I remember that? Okay, we have an A to a D. Key of A has 3 sharps. Father Christmas gave. Dad is not affected, so that's in the key. But we need it augmented, so we need to raise this a 1/2 step. If it was in the key, it'd be perfect. If it was just D, natural. Okay, so then D to A. Father, Christmas. So that A is in the key, so it's perfect, just like it sits. Okay, and we already did this one.